grief and loss, trauma, mental health, alcohol and drug use, gender roles, anger management, self-esteem, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and the pressures of societal norms or real-life issues that affect men. Join Rolando, psychotherapist, author, life coach, and motivational speaker that has dedicated his profession to working with men to find a healthier alternative to cope and handle these stressors. Rolando believes that men are lacking in social, psychological, emotional, and spiritual support that is necessary for a lifestyle that promotes healthy masculinity. We invite you to join us on XY Spark, where we discuss issues that men face. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.
Hello, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us again. This is your boy Rolando on XY Spark. It is a Thursday morning. It's bright, it's beautiful. The weather network is reporting that it's a cool -4 on the outside. If you're on your way to work, we just want to say safe journey to you. If you're just going home, we hope that you get home safely. Keep those eyes open. You might have just ended a long shift. This may be your first day off, or your last day off. I'm not sure what your schedule is looking like. You may have plans to go walking today. You may have some plans to just go do some light browsing around for places that are open. I'm not sure, but whatever it is that your plans are, we just thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time here on XY Spark, and it would not be the same without your presence. Today, I wanted us to just reflect on this thought that says facing difficulties is inevitable. Learning from them is optional. Let me read it again for you. A quote from John C. Maxwell. It says here, facing difficulty is inevitable. Learning from them is optional. All of us, we sometimes we come to crossroads in our lives where things are difficult. We come to places in our lives where we struggle. Sometimes we're struggling with a substance use issue. Sometimes we're struggling with an alcohol abuse issue. Sometimes we're struggling because we find that we are smoking much more than we used to, because the global pandemic has pushed us against a wall and we feel like everything is caving in. And so we get into those places where life feels difficult, it feels unbearable. I just want to pause and say to you this morning that in spite of all of that, there could be a lesson in there that needs to be learned. You may be experiencing a hard time with your supervisor at work or with your manager. You may be experiencing a hard time with your coworkers. In your family, you may be experiencing a difficult time with your teenager, with your adult child who's living with you. You may be experiencing a difficult time in your relationship with your siblings or those with a neighbor, and life seems difficult. I want to extend to you an encouragement this morning and help you to understand that facing difficulties in life is inevitable. Sometimes there are some difficulties that we face that they were self inflicted difficulties, meaning that some situations that we're in, it's a matter of some choices that we have made. And then there are some situations that we're in that we did all the things that we should have done to remain, but still challenges come. Right now, since the pandemic, many of us may be facing some financial challenges. Some of us may be facing some mental health challenges. Some of us may be dealing with challenges because we have lost people who were closest to us, and we're going through that grief process. And all of those things sometimes they happen to us not because of anything that we did. It just happens because they are a part of the journey of life. Some of us, we would have wanted life to be a smooth path every single day, but realistically speaking, as we journey the path of life, I want us to envision the path of life as if we're going on a road trip, or we are rather on a road trip. There are points on that road trip where we're going to be allowed to do the maximum speed limit, but there are times when you're going to need to come down to a slow 60 or 30, depending on the zone that we're in. We want to take time to recognize what zone we're in. If we tend to believe that we need to be running on the highways of life and consistently be at the highest limit on our speedometer, or based on what the road sign is saying as it relates to maximum clicks, then we need to take a step back and do a little more reflection on our surroundings, because sometimes it could be that we're experiencing the difficulty because we are going at the wrong pace. We may be going too fast. We need to ease up on the throttle a little bit. We need to learn to slow down amidst the busyness and do some more reflection, because sometimes the inevitability that is happening as it relates to the difficulties is sometimes because we are not reflecting enough. We're not slowing down enough. We're not doing those things that we need to do in order to connect with ourselves. And so, as we progress and as we go on, we want to start recognizing now and ask ourselves, what is there for me to learn from this? You see, the learning that comes as we go through life's journey, if we miss it, chances are we may have to experience it again in order to learn it. So we want to connect and seek to see what is the lesson that I can learn from this, so that I don't keep regurgitating and doing the same thing over and over again. We want to move away from living our lives like the cow. We live in this cycle where we constantly are regurgitating. We're chewing our cards, we're making the same mistakes, we're doing the same thing the same way, and we expect to get different results. I want to challenge you to break that cycle today and remember this, and I quote: facing difficulties is inevitable, learning from them is optional. I want you to set yourself up today for success. I want you to set yourself up today for new learning. I want you to recognize that new learning is going to come when we are able to learn from those difficulties. So I want you to repeat after me today as you go. I will no longer be afraid to face difficulties. I will set myself a target to learn from them. I will no longer be afraid to face difficulties. I will set myself a target to learn from them. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with us again in XY Spark. This is your boy, Rolando. And as usual, I want to continue to encourage you to remember that there is a spark in you.
Please join Rolando next time on XY Spark as he engages us in practical discussions that promotes healthy masculinity and challenge men to live extraordinary lives. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.